If most of us are ashamed of shabby clothes and shoddy furniture, let us be more ashamed of shabby characters. To cultivate certain basic character qualities is one of our greater tasks as responsible and intelligent human beings. I offer you, in Virus Address, a pattern of such character qualities. Welcome to Cultural Cartwheels. Sincerity is honesty of mind and intention. Sincerity is of prime importance to all who seek to live and work harmoniously and successfully with other people. It is not only desirable, but imperative, that each should be sure of the other's sincerity, so that everybody feels free to work out any problem for the good of all. It is a delicate and precious quality. The famous French novelist Gabrielle Colette observed in her Le Chevalier, "Sincerity is not a spontaneous flower. It must be carefully cultivated at all times. There's no holiday from sincerity. A postage stamp suggests a serious thought. It sticks to the job right through." Sincerity has a partner in wisdom, which makes wholehearted sincerity possible. Sincerity without wisdom is like a singer without a song, a little noiseless noise among the leaves. The cynics think it is easier to ape sincerity than to possess it. Rockenford wrote in his Maxims in 1665, "Sincerity is an opening of the heart. We find it in very few persons. And what we see ordinarily is only a cunning deceit to attract the confidence of others." I sincerely hope there is less cunning and more sincerity today than in 1665. We note a strange trend of duplicity and double-dealing in human nature. It is not easy to be unswervingly genuine, unpretending, free from trickery and simulation, wholehearted and guileless. Sincerity seems almost universally accepted as one of the most desired qualities to possess. Sincere persons are attractive. They may well be the most attractive of all. Sincerity is the highest compliment you can pay. Emerson wrote in his journals in 1836, "It is the sincere people who have the greatest influence on others." Mencius, who lived during the 3rd century BC, remarked pointedly, "Never has there been one possessed of complete sincerity who did not move others. Never has there been one who has not sincerity who was able to move others." Sincerity seems to be the criterion by which all other values are judged, or as Confucius, a Chinese philosopher, teacher and writer, who lived from 1551 to 478 BC, said, "Sincerity and truth are the basis of every virtue." The sacred scriptures use the word to express a quality of character which is free from falsehood, deceit, wickedness, and make-believe. The book of Proverbs uncovers the insincere man's true nature. He is greedy, ruthless, a scoffer who cynically deals fatal blows in his ambitious ventures. Youth is easily deceived, especially when the rogue is a charmer. A Shona saying pictures a boy who mistakes a crow for the equally black drongo. "Ndezvo mwana mudiki kubata nhengo anonzi rasa izizi." That is, it is so with a young person. When he catches a drongo, he believes it is a crow. The origin of the word sincere is not quite clear. Some trace it to the Latin word sincerus, meaning pure, wholesome. The sin in this word is then linked with our word same, and the Ceres is associated with the name of the ancient goddess of agriculture, Ceres, and the word criere, which means create or grow. The root meaning of sincerus is thus of one growth. Even today, we say of sincere people that they are all of one piece. Others think the Latin words sinecera bring out the proper meaning. Sinecera means without wags. The explanation is rather interesting. It sometimes happened that a block of marble would receive a chip or a finished statue a nick. To conceal the defect, workmen would fill in the broken edge with white wax. In this deceit, they became so skillful that it was almost impossible for even a trained eye to detect it. However, the soft wax could not resist winds and frost, heat and rains, and in time, the ugly scar would reappear. To ensure against such deceit, it became customary to put into contracts a clause saying that the marble statue, when completed and delivered, would be sincera, without wax, flawless. The statue is what it appears to be, all of one piece. A Latin word which is frequently translated as sincere is the word integer. It is composed of in and tag from atangere and means untouched, whole, entire, fresh, untainted and spotless. That means a sincere person is free from duplicity and therefore good throughout. The ancient Greeks described such a person by use of a lovely word, kalos kagatos, that is, good and beautiful. Not just good and not just beautiful, but both. The person who is good throughout cares even for the smallest things. A Hindustan proverb reminds us, men trip not on mountains, they stumble on stones. It is the small things that matter. An African saying also has it, a little rain each day will fill the rivers. It is the small things that count. You build up a sincere personality from a myriad of small sincerities. But sincerity is not a small thing. There can be no compromise or yielding. A sincere personality is what it appears to be. It is genuine, without defect, of one piece, good throughout, good and beautiful. That is an ideal. Walter Lippmann portrays ideals in his brisk style. Ideals are an imaginative understanding of that which is desirable and that which is possible. We are at times thoughtless and even rude. We put on airs and a false front. We are at times devious. But this should be but a passing phase. All skill learned is accompanied by trial and error. We know we can succeed, especially when we return daily to the source of all strength. As Paul did and spoke about it in his letter to the Philippians, there is nothing I cannot muster with the help of the one who gives me strength. In all practical terms, we do not use the full throttle of this strength. Consider again Emerson's insight, expressed in his journals from 1844. If 2 or 3 persons should come in a high spiritual aim, and with great powers, the world will fall into their hands like a ripe peach. If you are only intent upon sincerity, but do not translate it into action with great powers, you will resemble one who ploughs his land and leaves it unsown. Finally, sincerity should be blended with discretion. Andrea Muroi counsels in his letter to a young girl, sincerity is glass, discretion is diamond. Our sincerity must wisely allow consideration for others. It serves no purpose to go about calling every SOB an SOB. We must develop a certain delicacy in our relationships, that is, what we would ordinarily call civility. John F. Kennedy stressed in his inaugural address on 20 January 1961 that civility is not a sign of weakness. Genuine sincerity always shows this mode of behavior, accompanied by modesty, restraint, and moderation. That is essential to go throughout. No matter how many times and customs change, certain qualities abide. We'll always have the same need our ancestors had, to live out our lives in sincerity, courage, and honesty, to get along with our fellow men, to hold on to those values which show us how to grow, to learn and to become better people. Stay an idealist. The true idealist pursues what his heart says is right, in a way that his head says will work.